FM Rewind. File 88.1. Your mid-morning start right with the A-Team. Area code.
We got the opportunity to unpack the draft military veterans pensions benefit regulations that are open for public comment. We're joined by MXOLISI, acting head of communication for the Department of Military Veterans as well. And we're going to find out more about what is currently happening. So the draft military veterans pensions benefit regulations are open for the public comment, with submissions due by Sunday. And this is August 25, 2025. So the Department of the Military Veterans is inviting individuals and organizations as well to provide written feedback on the proposed changes before the deadline that is currently looming, the 25th of August, being the next 2 weeks, the next coming Sunday, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. So make sure that you do the right thing. MXOLISI, thank you very much for your time and a very warm welcome to Area Code. Maybe briefly let's state it back by giving us an explanation of the purpose of the draft military veteran pension benefits regulations and why they're being introduced now in particular.
Great. Thank you very much. Sorry for the bad connections. The main thing that we've introduced in the new draft regulations is the means test. The means test seeks to then determine if a person actually qualifies to receive the military veterans pension, and those who don't qualified to be receiving and have been receiving previously, they will then unfortunately be cut off, because if once the draft regulations get approved, then they become law and you follow that law and no longer the old ones.
I think another thing that we need to highlight is obviously the clarification of the date, just once again, because public comment is open until the 26th of August, you said. How can the individuals and the organizations submit their feedback, and what format is preferred?
Right. The actual cutoff date is Monday, the 25th of August. So feedback can be given through sending an email to pensionreg at dmv.gov.za. So that would then be the easiest avenue. It doesn't necessarily have to follow any specific format, just a comment on which part of the regulation you wish to possibly give input on, and maybe seek to have it amended. It doesn't necessarily have to follow. There's no form to fill in. Just any email can be sent to that address that I've given, pensionreg at dmv.gov.za. And all the information is also available on our website, which is dmv.gov.za, www.dmv.gov.za.
And maybe take us through the whole process. How will public input be actually considered? Will there be any transparency around how the comments influence the final version of these regulations that are due to be released?
Great. Thank you for the question, because it's quite an important question. The public consultation part of redrafting or changing regulations is actually the second step in the entire process. The first step is drafting the initial regulations and publishing them. Second one is public consultation, which is where we are now. The next step would be cabinet approval. Once we've received enough, all the public comments have been received. We then, after the cutoff date, will then go through them and draft a new set of regulations accommodating those inputs that we've received from the public. Not necessarily everything we put in, and not everything will be discarded as well. We just see which ones go with our act, go with our mandate as a department. The next step will then have it be reviewed by the Parliament, Cabinet, and then state law advisors will then make sure that it complies with the Constitution and also the Military Veterans Act. Later on, then goes to final approval and publication through the Government Gazette. So it's quite a process, but right now we are at a crucial stage where we need public input on how these regulations can better serve the public of military veterans.
AVSA reports that over 87,000 veterans are still awaiting financial assistance, with an estimated 20,000 having died without receiving benefits as well. Are these figures accurate? Maybe let's start off there. And what steps is the department also taking to address this backlog? Obviously, with the transparency that we are talking about, obviously the regulation that comes to the forefront.
Great, thanks. This number has come up before, and we cannot really confirm it if it's really 20,000 people that have passed away and they've been waiting for the military veterans pension, because we only opened the applications in October around November actually of 2023. So from then, we have not received that many people that have ultimately passed away within 2 years. We have within the department, we have a unit that deals with burials and memorialization of military veterans, and we have not picked up that these specific people are also on the list of people waiting for military veterans pension. So I'm not sure exactly this number, how it can be verified, because the same institution or the same organization that's coming up with a number is not coming forth with information beyond that number to say such and such a person has been identified as having been waiting for the military veteran pension when at the time of their passing. We cannot confirm the number.
Yeah. But also maybe just speak to us about the delay itself. You know, the military veterans pension was introduced in November 2023. Why in particular has its rollout been so delayed for many veterans?
Like I said, what we're trying to change now with the regulations is the reason for the delay as well, because we found out that a lot of people have been receiving pensions throughout their, maybe they were military veterans, they were soldiers. When they left being soldiers, they received their pensions, and then now they're applying again on our side as military veterans. Now they're double dipping. So that is obviously depleting the funds for people who actually deserve to be on this pension that they're receiving monthly. It's now funds are going to people who were previously advantaged and having military, who were receiving pension elsewhere. Now that money is finished, they come into the DMV now. So what we're trying to fix with the regulations is exactly that. That's what I was saying about the means test, to make sure that you qualify and you actually deserve to be receiving the money. So that number and the delay, it's basically because of there are people who have been getting money, and obviously there are people who have not been getting. So the people that are not getting is a higher number than people that have been getting.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to nip in the bud, if you will.
Just very quickly, let's also show some compassion and concern over the retroactive compassion or a form of some sort of retroactive compassion or to redress for the families of veterans who passed away without receiving benefits, like I mentioned earlier on with some of the statistics that have been estimated, which you cannot confirm nor deny. But are there any retroactive compensation or redress for the families of these veterans?
Yes, as part of the new regulations, one of the elements that we added there was the fact that people who are eligible for the military veteran pension includes widows and widowers and dependents that are residing within the Republic. And that also has its own criteria, that the dependent has to be within a certain age, attending school, and all these other things, which are in the regulations if people want to have a more closer look at exactly the criteria. So we do look at things beyond just the military veteran himself or herself. We also go as far as the dependents of the military veteran and the widower, who's possibly, when the person passes away, who is left behind, and how do they then continue receiving the military veteran pension, which they do qualify for with the new regulations.
Yeah. All right, let's leave it there for now. I'm running out of time, but thank you very much for your time. Just once again, let's give a reiteration to the date of when people can, the closing date rather, for people who want to actually comment on, and what are they hoping for?
Yes, please. The date is the 25th of August, which is a Monday, and the cutoff time is around 4 o'clock. So we hope then afterwards we'll then come back again to the public and inform them of the progress. The information that they need to comment on is on our website, www.dmv.gov.za, and everything's on there. Thank you very much for your time.
MXOLISI, thank you very much. And that's MXOLISI MKHONZA, Acting Head of Communication for the Department of Military Veterans, giving us insight in terms of the draft military veterans pension benefit regulations that are officially open for the public to comment. And I just want to double down on the date. So the 25th is a Monday, that's correct. So it's the 25th of August on a Monday. That is when all the comments will be closed, specifically at 4 p.m.
Area code weekdays
9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
FM Rewind, File 88.1.